Yes, Beaker Par, all the mischief makers are here tonight. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this evening's The Dungeon Rundown. My name is Trisha Hershberger, and this is the show where we talk all things The Dungeon Run. And we get to hang out with some of your favorite players from the Dungeon Run RPG. So this evening, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you Ron Ogden and Katie Michels. Yay!
Hey, everybody.
Hey! You're above me right now. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I'm doing really well tonight. I'm so glad that it's you two. We have a lot to discuss from last week.
So much to unpack.
How were your days? What did you do today?
Well, today I baked a little bit. Baking helps me feel in control when I feel out of control or I don't have any control. And I was feeling that way today. And because of the wonderful human being here to my left, I was able to bake. So.
Wait, what?
Katie, if the audience does not know, has been functioning. I am immunodeficient as I have a severe asthma problem. And Katie, genetics, Katie does our shopping for me.
Yay. Oh, Katie, that's so nice.
And is wonderful about it. So she has been blessing both in so many ways. There's not words. But so I was able to bake today because
but there is baked goods.
Yes, and I also learned that you should not make beer bread with a intense IPA. You should not do that. I learned that today. Won't do it again.
A bit hoppy, maybe?
A bit bitter, yes. Just a tad.
So
it was still delicious, just bitter.
Delicious for people who like IPAs, I assume.
Yes, right. That's it. And that's what Marone was. I was like, here, Marone, try this. He's like, it's great if you like IPAs. I don't like IPAs.
Do you find that it changed the texture at all?
Yes.
Because it's not filtered or anything?
Yeah, it was. It's definitely a denser bread and a lot more gooey in the center, even though it was cooked fully. But great texture, just a little bit of the IPA taste. And what's weird about it is it doesn't hit you until about 5 or 6 seconds after you've chewed it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing.
Once it's not illegal, I'd love to try your beer bread.
I will be more than happy to let you try my beer bread.
So, Katie, are you intentionally picking up baking supplies for Ron to be like, here, try something new?
Yeah, I'm being passive aggressive in my grocery runs. Yeah.
Well, it's par for the course.
Well, I love hearing that. You're everyone's angel. I saw Jared in chat say, Katie brings me booze. You know how everybody rolls. Surprise bread, says Just Jules. Yeah, Ron, does the bread have a name? And would you ever post the recipe?
I will. I'd be more than happy to post the recipe. It's fairly simple. The best thing to do for beer bread is to actually sift your flour. It's very important to sift flour for bread.
Best thing for a lot of baking.
Absolutely. I can, you know what I call it? Beer bread.
Beer bread. I love it.
That's what it's called.
Aptly named.
Aptly named. But I will most assuredly post the recipe in the Discord.
Yes. Jared says Uggos beer bread.
Sure. We can do that.
Sure.
Uggos beer bread.
And Chef Scott 68 in chat says this chef agrees with the sifting.
Nice.
Yeah, so baking tips all around.
Yep.
It's underrated, but it really does change it.
And Katie, you've been well?
I've been well, thank you. Yeah. It was sunny here today, which was really nice. It's been really rainy in LA, so the sunshine was good. We have a couple streets by our house that have been very empty, so I've been able to go for runs and not be close to anyone. So that's been really nice.
Yay for getting outside. I know I did the same thing today. I finally went outside and it was like, oh, this is so nice.
It's truly healing to just be take my earphones out. Nothing, no screens.
Totally. Well, I'm so glad, like I said earlier, I'm so glad that it's you two tonight because we have a lot to discuss. And Katie, I know you're laughing because we're going to get into what. But before we do that, let's discuss some D&D news. What's going on in the world of Dungeons & Dragons? Well, what I recently found this week, and chat, you may have already known this, but it was news to me, is that Wizards of the Coast is releasing free adventures and free D&D activities 5 days a week that are only available that week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, each day they drop something new. And that new thing is only available in that Monday through Friday period, and then it will reset the following week. So we have here up on screen what was released just yesterday. So this is still available. So they have the Courting of Fire and Adventure for levels 1 through 4 available now for free for a limited time this week. And it gives you a little synopsis of it. And then for younger adventurers, here you can see they have coloring pages as well. And the coloring page that's available from Monday is from the 1979 AD&D coloring album, which I thought was so cool. It is an Umber Hulk that we're looking at right there.
Yes, it is.
And no joke, minutes before we went live tonight, Tuesdays dropped. And that's another adventure for levels 1 through 4. They have a different introductory adventure that's good for all ages. And then for the younger gamers, there is a coloring page of a gelatinous cube.
They also released today the new Unearthed Arcana stuff, which is a rework of the psionics part of what they did recently. They made some changes, dropped some stuff, but added some new things. So it was really interesting to read. So anybody who's really looking for any psionic abilities, as Jared plays in the Out of the Abyss campaign, so I've been introducing slowly some of that stuff. But yeah, it's really interesting. What they've done. Clearly, they're working really hard.
Yeah, I always really liked psionics. What did they change? Can you give us like the TLDR?
Yeah, sure. Yep, they added a couple subclasses. They moved psionics more into subclass reworks. Fighter, there's a rogue subclass, sorcerer, and a warlock. They dropped the mystic, which was its own. They were playing with a new class. Right. They dropped that completely. They dropped a lot of the new spells as well. Psychic Crush, those kind of things. But they've added a couple of 5 new feats, 3 new spells, and then the subclasses. And the wizard, the psionic wizard school is now gone as well.
Did you say Psychic Crush?
I think, is that right? Psionic Crush.
Oh.
I did say Psychic Crush.
I thought it was like someone's like, I know you have a crush on me. I'm assuming it's also not that type of crush. But
not that type of crush, no.
No.
Listen.
No,
that's how I interpret it.
Sean Patrick says, are the psionic stuff like the old AD&D psionics?
They're trying to get a little bit more like the first edition version of psionics, where it's more of built into your backstories, and rather than like it's sourced from self or that kind of stuff. So they actually talk about that a little bit in the
That's very cool.
Yeah,
and so if anyone that's watching this is thinking about getting some of those free adventures that Wizards of the Coast is putting out for 5th edition, and you want to play some of those, but you're like, I wish I could do that, but I don't have anyone to play with. Good news. In the Dungeon Run Discord channel, there is a D&D Find online game channel specifically for that. So not only can you find other people to play D&D online with, you can find other Dungeon Run viewers to play D&D online with, which I just love that this community is so supportive of each other and comes together in so many different ways. So it's really, really awesome to have that resource to then pair with some free adventures. And now we all have a lovely way to get through our quarantines and our self-isolation, which is amazing. So
I want to see some D&D coloring book pages.
Heck yeah.
Is that what you're going for, Katie?
Yeah, that's what I'm all about. Listen, I'm all about the gelatinous cube.
Yeah,
it's very relaxing to color that in.
Is it though? I think there's like a half digested Pegasus in there from what I looked at real quick.
You know, we can make it sweet.
It's a blackened skeleton, sword, shield, just floating around in there.
No big deal.
With a pop of color, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great.
Put the Lily Dumblestack touch on it. It'll be perfect.
What was that? What's the coloring? All the notebook keepers, Lisa, she always, rainbows and unicorns.
From the 80s.
Lisa Frank.
You're
going to Lisa Frank the inside of that gelatinous
cube. There's going to be so many dolphins in there at the end of my coloring.
A little bit of like puffy paint.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it so, so much. All right. So if you folks out there are thinking, okay, well, I've been putting my comments into chat, but maybe I would like there to be some Dungeon Run swag on the line. As always, we are giving out some Dungeon Run swag for the comment of the evening, but not just any comment of the evening. The challenge for tonight's comment of the evening, or our comment of the night theme, if you will, is based on something that happened last week. Let's take a look at that now.
If you're going to crank on your turn, do it second. So if you're going to push a button first until I say so.
Sorry, James, I'm just gonna stop you. Is this one of those like comedy routines that like a lot of confusion happens within it, and you're telling a joke now?
I swear. What do you think that going back in time has changed my personality entirely? When have I been a stand-up comedian?
So the comment of the night theme for tonight is that you need to give us the name of James Quillis's comedy album. What would it be named? Get your thinking caps on and put your best answers in chat all throughout the show tonight on the Dungeon Rundown. And the comment of the evening that is chosen by our wardens that be will earn themselves some Dungeon Run swag. So keep that going all evening. Musket Addict says, you're always funny to us. It's true, James Quillis.
Morgan says he feels triggered. Oh, yeah, you feel triggered? Last week was Uggo Rage Trigger. I feel triggered. We're all going to get triggered at some point here, clearly.
At some point. And Morgan says, oh, wow, this will be fascinating.
Yeah,
yes, and I already see some good ones coming in from Vanderslice, Branded Nerd. Keep those coming all throughout the evening. It's going to be a good time. Okay, folks, it is time for Let Me Dungeon Run and Get Something. Katie, Ron, what have you brought to show us this evening?
Katie, do you want to go first? Or I got to go get mine.
Okay, I'll go first. You go get yours. Okay, so this is not really D&D related, but it's, what would you call this, Trisha?
It's fantasy related. It's medieval.
Gothic. So I never win any type of raffles, but I won this in a raffle, and I thought I would show it off because I don't know where to put it in my house.
That's amazing.
Show it from the side. Oh, yeah.
Also would love name suggestions if anybody has one out there. It's a light. It plugs in. Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool. I don't know where to put it. I don't know where to put it. But fun fact, I showed them this before we started the show, and Trisha says, oh, I have that. I have 2 of those.
Chad.
Of course she does. Of course she does, because she's the coolest person I know.
No, I just really like to medieval chic out my house. That's like the benefit when you finally buy and you can do that kind of stuff. And so it's taken me all these years, and now that I can finally do it, I'm going crazy. So yes, I own 2 of those lamps. I bought one to put on my back porch, and the idea was the other one would be my front door entryway. But it sticks out a little bit too far. Like when you saw Katie hold it up to her head,
it's big.
It's pretty large. So for someone to come in my door, they would have to like duck around it. So I didn't put it at the front door, but I do have it on my back patio by my back sliding glass door. It's sitting there. It's wonderful. It's lovely. It's awesome. Everybody go get them. I think they're great. Katie, I think you're very fortunate to have won one.
I know. It's a cool thing to win in a raffle, right?
It's a very cool thing to win in a raffle.
Very elaborate.
Was
I'm going to name it.
Themed, or were you just lucky?
It was actually, it was a Dragon and Meeple. Do you remember Dragon and Meeple?
Yes, I know Dragon and Meeple.
Yeah, so they had, these were in Dragon and Meeple, and I went there when they had just opened, and they had like purchased some extra ones because, you know, when you're doing construction, you get extras.
Sure.
And so they raffled this one off, and I won it.
Yay! Well, I think you need to find a place to put it. And if you don't want to put it in your house, you could always put it somewhere outside of your house.
Yeah, I got to find a spot. I'm excited. And now if anyone has any ideas where I can put it. Yeah. I actually I'm so inspired by your wall behind your camera. I would like to if I could put it there, that would be cool if I made a wall like that.
That would be very cool. Yeah, just keep in mind, remember how long it is.
I know. It's honestly a walking hazard.
It's very fun. It's very, very fun. I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Katie.
Thanks for listening.
So my show and tell is I made Disney churros at home.
Ooh, like from the Disney recipes that they're releasing online?
Correct. And they're quite amazing. It's the first time I ever made churros. Learned something new, that churros don't actually have sugar until you put the sugar on top of them. They're made without sugar.
So are they like donuts?
Yeah, well, it's more like funnel. Yeah, it's like a mixture of a funnel cake and a donut.
Okay.
I had a pastry bag. I did not have a big enough star tip in order to make the churros as they look like. But I also have this, which is simple green I said Soylent Green earlier. Those are two different things.
Very, very different.
Very different things.
Yes.
But this is fantasy related because now I can start printing minis again. Yay!
Wait. How does simple? I thought you were just showing us that because you were like, yeah, cleaning products are hard.
Oh no, I'm straight up. I even
just a brag. It wasn't a show and tell, just a brag.
I got a gallon of Simple Green. What you got?
Also, you might TP. What?
Normally, I use isopropyl alcohol at 99%, which is, as you know, right now impossible to find, and wouldn't want to take it away from the people that need it anyway. So I was talking to one of the artists that I support, and Evan Carruthers from EC3D Designs. He told me that Simple Green works on resin. And so I was like, well, Simple Green I can get. So I finally got some Simple Green, and because I got resin and I need to print and I need to do something to keep my mind occupied. So that's what I'm going to do. That's my show and tell. I'm also going to eat this here.
Churros and minis.
Churro.
I love it. And people need those Ron Ogden minis. So I'm so glad that you're going to be up and running again soon. That's awesome.
Well, thank you. I didn't realize people needed my minis, but great.
Yeah, they do.
I need my minis. I don't know if everybody else does, but hey.
I think they do, right?
Ron made me 2 Lily minis, and they're really cool.
I did make you 2 little Lily minis.
Dyson Cape says we need minis to paint. Jared says churros and chemicals, match made in heaven. Is it now? It's Ron heaven right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, baking is just chemicals that you can eat.
I guess
wow.
That's true, huh?
Science, baby.
Yep.
Yes. I saw Sean Patrick earlier said not Soylent Green. That's something entirely different.
Yes.
Trisha, is that your show and tell that you're so eloquently putting into the screen right now?
It could be. I guess I'll do this first and then my official show and tell. I had planned something entirely different for show and tell, but when I was like, let me go grab a drink for the show, this is what I put it in. So this works too. So, like I mentioned earlier, my entire house, as much as possible, is like medieval chic or medieval modern, as I like to say. I had someone that's an actual designer tell me that's not a real thing. And to that I say, shut your face, it's a real thing in my world. And so these are prop replicas of the goblet that Joffrey poisons himself with at the Purple Wedding.
Oh, yes, he definitely poisons himself. That is...
Yeah, well, he does the drink.
He's the one who drinks it. So he did it to himself.
Out of a goblet that looks like this. Board Game Corner says straight up epic. Thanks, man. It's always funny drinking out of it because I'm like, is it poison? No, I'm not really sure. But another fun fact about these is these were given to me by one Amy Vorpal.
Vorpal, I love her.
She's a good friend of the show, and everybody knows Amy and I many, many moons ago worked together on a show called What's News for Comic-Con's network way back in the day. And she got these for me way back when we worked on that show. So I have a little Amy Vorpal love in my house. And most of the time, these are decor on my dining room table. Like I use them like displayed as a centerpiece. But right now, it is an actual goblet to drink beverages.
Never have I ever wanted to come over to your house more.
Oh, I will make you want to come over to my house more, but I will save that discussion for another time. The teaser to that is we just finished a huge project, of course, right before all this happened. But if we knew all this craziness were going to happen, we probably wouldn't have done it. But we just finished a huge project to build a secret medieval tavern bar in our house.
I mean, what?
Yep. So at some point when we can all fraternize again, I will have to have you over.
Yes.
I'm inviting myself.
It's one of those things where it's like the kitchen sink has a hole in it, but a medieval tavern in the house is important.
The hole in the kitchen sink is just the drain, Trisha.
No, it's in addition to the drain.
It's a second drain. I'm trying to help you out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Just, priorities are build a tavern in your house. But what I was actually going to show for show and tell is this spinner ring from a company called Crit Success. And it is a D20 spinner ring. So not only is it nice if you need something to calm you down and like do stuff instead of like a fidget spinner, which can be big and unwieldy and you can leave places, you can spin this. But also it is completely functional as a D20.
That's so cool.
If you've got your D20 and you're out somewhere, you can use this. And I read all up on it on their site before I purchased it. This is big on me because I purchased it for my husband a few years ago. And it is probability weighted and everything to be just like any other D20 that you might have. Nice. So you can use this as a D20 replacement when you're gaming.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm. They have them, I think they have them on Amazon right now for like $19.99 too. Like they're like a crazy good deal. I know, right?
I just want it so when I go to the grocery store, I can be like, well, which spaghetti sauce do I want? Okay, just roll a D20 and make a choice.
Are there 20 options in your
There are more than 20 options of spaghetti sauce. There are about 60. It's insane.
60?
There are a lot. This isn't at all grocery stores, but there are an insane amount of different types of spaghetti sauce, if you didn't know. Mm-hmm. It's actually part of, if you read Malcolm Gladwell's, he talks about this specific issue, which is it's gotten so popular that there's just so many, but they're all essentially the same.
The same thing.
Yeah.
I guess you're saying different like flavors within a brand.
Yeah, brand within flavor.
I see.
Got it.
I thought you were talking about brands, and I was like, that seems excessive.
Yeah, that is excessive.
Ron goes to the special Italian grocery store that just has whole aisles of spaghetti sauce.
A spaghettery. I go to a spaghettery.
Oh, is that the scientific name?
Yes, it's the scientific name.
I want to know where this spaghettery is, but don't tell my mom because as an Italian kid, my mom would be like, what do you mean you don't make your own spaghetti sauce? Yeah, I made this. Just like pull off the label, you know? That's my life for sure. But yes, we'll all be going to the spaghettery together as soon as we possibly can.
I can't wait.
Go ahead.
I said I can't wait.
I can't wait either. And then we're going to have churros for dessert.
Yes.
Yay!
Those will not be made from spaghetti or covered in spaghetti sauce, just to be clear.
Mm-hmm. Okay, perfect. And then I forgot, I have one more thing to show. So last week on the Dungeon Rundown, Morgan lost a game of Tabaxi Hold'em to myself. And Morgan's punishment for losing was that he needed to share an embarrassing story. And at the time, he couldn't really think of any embarrassing stories. So he sent me an email today saying, my embarrassing story. And I'll let you all be the judge of this story. Here's what Morgan said. I'm going to read it. I snore in my sleep and have a minor case of sleep apnea, which means that every night when I go to bed, I get to put on this extremely attractive contraption before I can go to sleep. And he sent me this picture. There we go. He said, sympathy cards to my wife can be sent to the studio with a smiley face. And to that I say, is that really that embarrassing of a story, Morgan?
Not at all.
Not at all, right?
No.
I was like, haven't you ever peed your pants in public?
Yeah, let's get into it, Morgan.
Like,
the people want embarrassing, Morgan.
Clearly.
Oh, Fail Waffle says that story was fine, Morgan. Okay, maybe we're just all super klutzy.
Well, random guy says he's cheating the system.
Well, if you ever need embarrassing stories, I've got plenty. So.
Yeah, Ron shared one with us before the stream started tonight that was definitely like record-setting embarrassing story.
Pretty embarrassing. Yeah.
Okay, so I think chat is saying that this totally counts. Deathwind says, I say that does it all right. So this counts for fulfilling your requirements from last week's Dungeon Rundown. Morgan, thank you for sharing. But as far as like in general life embarrassing stories, if that's the most embarrassing thing that you can think of, you are way too cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too cool for school, bro.
Which I guess we all kind of already knew Morgan was, but that just confirms it.
I don't know if you knew this, but Morgan's a famous movie star.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen him in lots of things, including
Me too.
a Geico commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, Morgan, we love you. Thank you for sending that in. Thank you for sharing that. And we all think you look just dandy with your sleep apnea mask. But I appreciated your expression as well in that picture.
He sent that to us, and I thought he was just snorkeling. And I was like, what's embarrassing about
Like a minimalist snorkel guy?
Yeah, I was like, this is my snorkel. I was like, I mean, cool new look, but
you're like, you shouldn't be snorkeling right now.
Yeah. You're not in water, Morgan.
Stay home.
So funny. Well, you know what? Thank you for that segue. Speaking of being in the water, let's go ahead and take a look at this moment from last week's episode of the Dungeon Run.
So it's the bottom of the round, which means it's the sharks' turns. What you see is in that space, in that 5 feet of water between the sub and the ship, where Fahima's kind of dangling out over the water on the side of the ship with these pirates looking out above you. You see this hammerhead emerge from the water. Its jaws open wide, and it sort of starts coming out of the water right below you, Fahima. And as that's happening, behind it, even larger jaws, enormous, gargantuan megalodon jaws open wide, swallow that shark, and close around the entire submersible.
Wow.
James, in that moment, you pull the hatch down over yourself, and the entire submersible with the 4 of you goes down the gullet of this megalodon shark as it splashes down into the water. Fahima, holding the ladder, sees her 4 friends, teammates, party members go down and disappear inside a megalodon.
Okay, I totally agree with everybody in chat that the facial expressions of the cast during this moment were on point, and especially that everyone had their own brand of like, I'm totally freaking out. Oh my God, this is crazy. What's going on with these sharks? Except for Jared, who's like,
yeah, Jared's just so casual.
Super cash.
So cool. Almost like you went there, didn't you?
This is my impression of Jared during that whole thing.
Jared wears cashmere because he's that casual.
You're absolutely right. It was very, very funny. So, Katie, Ron, what was going through your head when Jeff said that you had been swallowed by a giant shark?
Jaws.
Okay.
That was about for me, Jaws.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, like, how the thing was going to hold up against stomach acid.
Yeah. So were you both thinking, okay, there's got to be a way we can get out of this? Or were you like, I guess I'm bringing out my backup character?
No, I thought there would be a way. I don't think Jeff would have us. Well, maybe he would. I don't know. Have us swallowed by a shark that we couldn't get out of. But I didn't know. I wasn't expecting that, so I hadn't thought about what to do in that situation.
Got it.
When he said big shark and megalodon, yeah, I thought about, okay, I'm going to get swallowed and then take some grappling and some crushing damage from being inside of a shark. So I was immediately like, yeah, okay. I did not expect it to swallow the whole thing. That was what caught me off guard, was that the hammerhead came out and then the big one came out and swallowed all of us. That part caught me a little off guard. But I was for sure like, okay, well, if this dissolves or something, we're going to have to cut our way out of this bad boy. And that's why the first question was like, is there a uvula? Because I'm going to grab onto that thing.
Yeah.
And shake real hard, because then you'll spit me up then, won't you?
Oh, we should have grabbed the uvula with the claws.
Yeah, I don't know that sharks have uvulas, though. That's the shark anatomy. Don't know a whole bunch about that, but pretty sure they don't have that.
Yeah, especially inside the shark.
Yeah, right. But you can reach through the esophagus to the dangling bit. Let me go. I mean, I might have thought about this if a giant ever were to eat me, but
MD4D&D2 says they do not have it.
Yeah.
They don't have it. Okay.
Uvuloless.
They are uvuloless. Yes, exactly. So what was going through Lily and Ugo's minds at this point, do you think?
I mean, I think it all happened so fast that it's hard to have much of a thought process other than okay, what do we do? That was the extent of my thought, was we have to find a way to make ourselves unsavory to this megalodon's stomach. So how do we get him to throw us up?
So Lily went into damage control mode.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think Uggo thought more of if we can survive underwater, then we could probably survive inside of a shark.
Okay.
That was about it.
You were getting ready to nest in there and be like,
yeah, I mean, like, look, if we can survive underwater, look, we're underwater and I can breathe, and sharks are in water, therefore can survive.
You know where this would look good? Inside of a shark.
Right next to the non-existent uvula.
Yeah. This could be the uvula. Look.
Yeah.
That's it. Now sharks have really cool dragon gothic uvulas from here on in. Yeah. I also thought it was crazy that Jeff decided to separate Fahima from the rest of the group, because you guys are so used to operating as a well-oiled machine as a party that to divide you up, I feel like threw everybody off their game a little bit. So in a hypothetical situation where Uggo or Lily were left alone in Fahima's position, what do you think your go-to solution would be as your character?
Ooh, I think Fahima did a great job, first off, and handled it really well up there with, like, having me, like she jumped right into action, which I like to think I would have done the same thing, but I don't know. I think it would have been about rallying the troops, and because they don't care about us.
Yeah.
And so, like, getting them to do anything they could have done to get the megalodon, I guess.
So you would have tried to, like, out charisma the pirates to get them to do what you want.
Yeah, that's my move.
Yeah.
That's her move for sure.
and what do you think Uggo would have done?
Yeah. Curious.
Well, I mean, Uggo is also probably in that moment. He's now no longer has his family with him. So I think given the same set of circumstances, I would have to rely on my background feature for that. And that's I won't tell you what. I have a background feature that allows me to, when he is alone, easily gather assistance from those around.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I think he probably would have relied on that part where he's gone through something dark before, and so he would rely on that knowledge and to try to inspire others to help him in that moment. Like, look, if any, I would do the same if it was any of you or the captain, that kind of thing.
Got it. Cool. So we have that to look forward to should Uggo ever get separated from the rest of the party. And if Lily and Uggo did have a moment where they were like, oh man, this is where I die, what do you think their, like, flash before your eyes last thing that they see would be?
My family.
Oh.
Probably my grandma.
Grammy Dumblestuck.
And my sisters in order, and I know all of their names perfectly. I mean, I think it would be my family. I really do. I think
that, yeah, I would see that with Lily for sure. And what about Uggo?
Probably his family, which would be Lily and the gang. So probably Lily, since she's the one who keeps them together, at least has brought them together closest. But of course, all of the others as well. So it would be them.
Cool. All right. Well, let's hope that you guys never end up in that situation.
Yeah. Too sad to think about.
Where we have to do that. But I honestly, that's right where my mind went when he was like, and 4 of you just got swallowed by a shark. I was like, dude, did he roll like 5 20s in a row? How is this happening right now? Only Fahima got out of it? Really?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Wouldn't that be crazy if it became just Fahima on the whole adventure?
I know.
We didn't even get to create other characters.
Crazy.
The dungeon run with Fahima.
Yeah, she just has to figure it all out.
I always like to think that you guys have like a backup that should something like that or a near TPK happen, that you're just like, okay, new character, here we go. But you don't all have a new one, right?
No, I don't.
I think from my dungeon rundown conversations, there are some people who do and could be ready to do that, but not everybody.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also something to be said about, I think I've talked about it before, but death isn't the end of a story, right? How many of our, especially mythological stories, where death is the first thing that happens? Something dies, someone dies, they have to go and search for their dead loved one to bring them back. So there's a lot of, I think Jeff would probably leave it up to us on how to figure it out. Like, do you want to play a new character? Then you can, or I at least would like to think that. But that doesn't necessarily mean have to be, here's your new character. All right, next character, let's move on.
Right.
I always felt that was kind of, I never wanted to go that route myself.
Yeah.
The whole, look at this trustworthy fellow walking down the street. All right,
you have to do this.
Old character stuff.
Right, who just happens to be the same level as the rest of the party.
Right. Wow, how convenient. We just met you here in the middle of this woods.
I think I would play a ghost, a positive ghost.
Nice. The ghost
I like
of
that.
Lily. And we would all accept you.
Yeah.
If it was the ghost of Lily.
So it's just Lily. It's just Lily, but I have no actions in combat.
Physical action.
Oh, Lily. I would like to think that you could still do Phantasmal Force as a ghost.
Oh, yeah. I could probably still do
better.
like brain things. I could still do Vicious Mockery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You probably still have access to your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
That's my backup.
There it is. That's the backup plan. Should
Thanks,
anything
guys.
happen to Lily, if Jeff should allow it. There we go. Okay. So the biggest moment I would say that everyone's been talking about on Discord and in chat and everyone freaked out about in last week's episode was when we got a little romantic. Let's take a look at a recap of that now.
Sev,
Yes.
Do you think when we go back to the future, it will be like we've known each other forever?
No.
Why
I don't.
not?
I think when we go back to the future, the few things that we have changed will have changed. And all we will really remember of this is but a blink in time.
I hope so.
Lily,
For what?
something that might help us remember.
What?
And I lean in and kiss you.
I'm sorry I'm not always the most forthcoming with my feelings.
Sorry, I start with a lie and end with the truth.
It's okay, that's how you do you, I guess. Are you feeling less nauseous?
It's a different kind of flutter in my stomach right now.
I feel like how I think Fahima feels all the time, which is on fire.
You are turning a bit red.
Yes. Am I? Oh, I mean, right. Whatever. I don't know what to say. I hope I remember this.
I do too. I really do.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will.
And then I'll just hold Siv's hand and give him a piece of bread. And that's
All right, I'm probably going to say your name wrong. I'm sorry because it already disappeared. But Pyrocrastic Flatulent, I believe, said, I wonder if Katie was actually blushing. Katie, were you actually blushing?
Yes!
I feel like Fahima's faces through this were all of us. And some of my favorite, choicest comments during that clip were Fail Waffle, who said Jared is annoyingly smooth. And Dr. Sparks, who
So
said,
casual the whole time.
so cash, so smooth. I could not believe it. And Dr. Sparks, who said, I kissed a cat and I liked it. And I would have sang that comment, except for the fact that I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for copyright, so I won't. But I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. Did either of you see that coming?
No.
I don't think Jared saw that coming.
Oh,
So either.
an interesting one to play. Because, I mean, your comment kind of led into it perfectly, Katie. You kind of gave him the perfect setup, and then he just, spiked the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's why these moments are you get so blushy. Again, I don't know how many D&D romances people have played, but I haven't played a lot of them. And it's interesting because it's not like a play or acting in other ways where you like know what's going to happen. You truly don't know what's going to happen. So you're role playing out a romance.
Mhm.
And so when those surprises happen, you feel surprised.
Yeah,
So-
you're improvising a romance. So yeah, you're 100% totally in it.
Well,
And,
isn't that romance?
I'm sure that feels very real in a lot of ways.
But
Exactly. But it's different than, but my point is it's different than a play of a romance or a scene in a movie,
Yes.
which, you know, as actors we're used to doing. And you get those feelings, you work up to them, but you know what's happening.
That's kind of that's one of the reasons why I love improvisation, is because it's so tied to those real moments that we get. So I feel like sometimes, especially if we're completely unscripted, but we do have a framework that we've built for ourselves and in the characters that we have made.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, you get to really discover with the audience wonderful moments. And I think this moment is, especially because I know that Jared did it spontaneously, this moment is such a wonderful moment to as an example of what this show really is.
Yeah.
It's just a real moment, right? It was, I had no intention. This is what it came. Civ in the moment felt the need, and it that's what happened. It was such a cool depiction of, I think, how romance, at least how I've experienced romance working.
Exactly. And I think that's probably why I wasn't expecting it, because it's when you least expect it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Totally. And Ron, I love that you completely embodied the eating popcorn meme. So they're having this romantic scene and you're legit just like, tell me more.
Well, I just so happened to have had popcorn made before the show. And so we got to that moment and I was like, perfect moment.
Here we go.
Here we go. Yeah. Because at that point, that's what I'm in the same boat here with this. For me, it's like, oh, cool. I get to sit and watch now. Now I get to be the fan I like to be all the time. I get to just go, wow, this is cool. And it's also just really cool to see two of your friends role play something so well. You know, that's what it is for me. It's just watching and over stream, no less, which is the best part. So it's cool to be part of a group of people who are so good at what they do.
It was really fun to watch that clip back and watch everyone's facial expressions, because in our moments we have to talk to the camera, so I can't see anyone. So it's like Jessica's and Morgan, you guys are all priceless. Like, it's just so, I don't know.
Yeah, Jessica and Morgan in particular were on fire this whole episode with the facial expressions, for sure. So funny. So good. So, Katie, do you think this will change anything in Civ and Lily's relationship moving forward?
I mean, it's gotta, right? A little bit. It doesn't have to, but yeah, I think so. I think it was kind of that. I think Lily's been really on the fence with a lot of things, just because she kind of has a wall up, and Civ has slowly proven that he's more trustworthy than maybe she thought. And so she's been like slowly letting her wall down, and then that maybe was just pushing her over the edge. But also, I don't know if we're going to remember it, which is another crazy thing to think about. We could go back to our normal story and have no recollection of that, which is an insane thing to think about.
Yeah, Dasmir in chat says, what happens if you don't remember anything from your trip to the past?
Yeah, I mean, that is a very real possibility.
Right.
Very real.
And Fail Waffle says, Katie, you're going to remember. You will. Well, Katie will remember for sure. I don't know if Lily will.
Yeah, I mean, it's just we don't know. We have Jeff probably knows. But
I suspect we probably will at least remember some of it, only because we know that this seems to be the heist situation, right? It seems to be, we started with the vault of things.
Yeah.
So we'd have to remember at least the vault location. So maybe.
It's kind of funny though. Like, imagine it like, I wonder if it's going to be kind of like we go back to the future and then it's like, hey, friend, I had a dream that I kissed you last night, or you kissed me, and like, yeah, me too. And like, that's the memory. I don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, weird, right? That was weird. That was so weird.
Okay.
Cool, weird.
Yeah. So I have no idea how.
That's awesome. Yeah, like you wake up and you're like, oh, that was just a dream. Weird.
Yeah. Because if it feels like a dream.
Right.
But it was such a a big moment for our relationship.
I hadn't ever considered that. That's interesting.
Well, and you all had the same dream. Vanderslice says shared dream world.
Oh, dream world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think definitely it will change.
Okay.
If we remember it. It has to a little bit, I think.
And what do you think that change would be for Lily without getting too spoilery?
I mean, you can't, there's no spoilers because I don't know. I mean, I think it'll force her to be a little bit, not make a decision, but be a little bit more specific with her decision.
Okay.
Because she's kind of been she's been non-committal and been very upfront that she's non-committal and that she doesn't want anything to be locked down or serious or whatever. But that one of the things that, part of the reason the whole, the Christmas episode when Amy came on and sang that song that Lily was like, I don't know, is because she didn't want to lead anybody on. But now it's been taken a step further, so she has to consider that.
Okay, now my last question about this before we move on to the next clip and the next topic is this something that Lily has a burning urge to tell someone else about, or would she rather just kind of keep it to herself and let it stir around in her mind until she decides what she wants to do?
I really like your choice of words, a burning urge to tell Behemoth.
Well, I wasn't going to say that specifically. You inferred that.
I think she does want to tell someone, mainly because I think Lily feels like she is very confident with her words, but not around Civ. like she said so many things after that happened, and really she should have just said nothing.
Right.
But instead she just said a bunch of words. So yeah, I think there's that decompressed moment of hey, can I run this by you? This is a crazy thing that happened. Whether it's Uggo, whether it's Fahima, whether it's James. Honestly, it could be any of them.
Yeah. And and you said earlier, Katie, that D&D and romance isn't something that you've bumped into a lot in the past. And I was curious, Ron, if it's something that you have experienced in your prior D&D campaigns as someone who's played a lot of D&D in their lifetime. How often do you bump into romance?
The most I've bumped into romance is more of a storytelling device than interplayer romance. I did play in one campaign that had some interplayer romance, but those people were already romantic. So it was easier for them to play off of that and to keep it real. I never really played with anyone who wanted it. And that probably says more about me than, the fact that romance is in D&D. I just haven't ever had the opportunity to play with people. So that's why part of me is so interested in this, because it's I played improvised romantic characters before with other people in to set a romantic setting, but never in this never in this kind of environment. So it's super fascinating to me.
I feel like I'd be curious to hear you answer that too, Trisha, because I feel like I asked a lot of people when this kind of started being oh, maybe this is going to be part of this story. And it's not something that's super. I get really bad nerd imposter syndrome sometimes, being because I'm newer.
I promise you're a nerd.
No, I know I'm a nerd, but I'm not a nerd in the right way. Sometimes I feel
there's no such thing. Nerd what you love and love what you nerd. There's no such thing as.
But I'm terrible with names of references or things like that. So I'm oh gosh, maybe I'm a bad nerd. So I did some research. I canvassed my friends and I was okay, so how have you played this before? And almost no one had been in the experience of playing a D&D romance. Have you been in that, Trisha?
No, I actually have not. The only time that my character had experienced romantic anything in a D&D campaign, it ended up in her death, which I told that story on the rundown before. So I think, and that was pretty early in my D&D career. So I feel from that point on, I was no, thank you. Been burned once, not going to be burned again. And so it just wasn't a priority for any of my characters. I like to build characters that are normally pretty powerful. And I think that's because I'm a diminutive person in real life. So I like to be super powerful people. And so they're kind of one-track minded. But honestly, if you're building a multi-layered character, there will be some kind of romance that enters the picture. I've
Okay.
always written romance into backstories
Yeah.
and not really tackled it very much in the actual moment, but why the heck not? That would be very real. So I
It's
love
so
it.
fun. I think it's so fun. And I think it's such a fun part of like human interaction. That's a fun thing to improvise. And I think the intricacies of it and like the messiness of romance is a really fun part to add into the mix.
And it raises the stakes. Like you're telling a great story, what you want to do is raise the stakes. And this is what that does. So I love it.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
I think it's awesome. Okay, so we have one more discussion that I wanted to get into tonight before we run out of time. And this was a really interesting conversation and metaphor, if you will, that Uggo brought up to Fahima. So let's take a look at that conversation now.
Aww.
We could slaughter Whitebeard right now.
I
Take
know.
over his ship.
Do you not think I want to?
I'm this close, my friend.
I'm with you.
Please do not.
You know, it's a bit funny sitting over here listening to you talk about all this, because you do have a lot of bark. But at the end of the day, you always do what's right. You never hurt anybody purposefully. And it all turns out mostly okay. So it's just funny hearing you talk about we could slaughter people, we could let people die. None of that's going to happen.
Fahima,
We're going to do the right thing.
you have mage armor, yes?
Yes.
Same concept.
Preventative care?
Correct.
Protection?
Yes. If people believe that I am capable of killing, then they will act accordingly.
I like that. I like that. I see your point. Lily, any thoughts from you?
Well, there's a lot of things
Flushed.
being said.
Why you look so flushed?
I'm not flushed.
Okay.
It's just
Maybe
the
it's
sea,
the sea air.
the sea breeze, okay? I just
Yeah,
feel at
sea breeze.
home. I feel relaxed.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You look very happy.
Thank you.
I am happy for that.
Good. Me too. My feelings, I guess, are I don't know what's going to happen when we get to shore. In general, I trust Chiron, though I think he's not telling us everything. I think none of us are telling us everything.
Mhm.
We all have secrets, and that's just people.
Okay, so Ron,
Yeah.
you compared your sometimes violent threats and kind of overall air of violence to Uggo's version of mage armor. Let's break that down a little bit.
Sure. Well, you know, that comes from my own experience a little bit. I was a bouncer for quite a bit in comedy clubs and a variety of other clubs. So I am not by any means a person who is violent. I am capable of it. That is because I'm human. But when other people believe you are capable of violence, they will act like you are capable of violence. And I think that is telling to people, right? Especially for Uggo's purposes, where he's an orc. The reality he's grown in has been very problematic for him and others. And so I think he's learned, his wisdom has shown him that, well, if I act like I'm the violent orc all the time, then maybe they'll be afraid of me and therefore treat me better. Now, it's not necessarily a good way of thinking, and I'm not necessarily saying that what he's chosen to do is always in his best interest, but there have been plenty of times where I don't need to use the sword. I just need to let you know that I have it.
Got it.
Walk tall and carry a big stick. It's the same concept, I think.
Sure. I think what confused me about it in this conversation with Fahima, and a lot of people in chat were like, you got called out, like, you know, going Fahima, because Uggo is a nice guy. Yeah. He talks a big game, but he's a nice guy.
He's capable of that now.
Sure. But when you're talking about being capable of that violence and like, let's slaughter him just amongst your family, just amongst your party members, is that having the same desired effect?
It's, again, no, I don't think that does have the same desired effect. I think that does in reference to him. And this is again where James, I think, is also trying to help Uggo see that sometimes he steps on his own toes. He's wise, but he's not always intelligent on what he's learned about his wisdom. Right? I have these tools, little wisdoms that he's used applying them properly sometimes is not always great. So yes, he's talking about, in that particular context, he's talking to Civ about, don't you think I want to do this? I do. I want to hurt him. Everything inside of me wants to say to hurt him. Right. But I would still regret it if I did afterwards. Right? Yes. Uggo wanted to hurt his father. He wanted him to know that what he was doing was wrong. Wanted probably even really to hurt him and kill him. It wasn't until he actually did it that he realized, oh.
Right.
And I think that's what he's trying to remember. And sometimes that's what that is.
And thank you for giving us that window into Uggo's mind, because it's been fascinating to see Uggo's journey from, the pre-Whitebeard times and kind of the more simplistic mindset of use what I have, I rage, I'm strong, this is the tools at my disposal, to where he is now and really questioning things and relying a lot more on his party and on his family. So thank you for showing us that. That was really cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now that we're arriving in Boster, what do you guys think we are going to see tomorrow night?
I don't know. Ron, do you know?
I've stopped trying to guess with Jeff.
Right?
Because he's so good at, even when I think I've got it, it's like, that's not really, oh, wow, that's really. So I think we're going to see, I'm hoping we're going to see some family, because I want Sharon not to be lying to us. So I'm hoping we're going to be seeing some of that. I really wanting to see, and I'm hoping very much that Sharon is as good as Uggo thinks he might be. Maybe not good, but his reason, because even an evil person can want to have a family saved, especially their family. So it's not that. It's more of I really hope he's not lying about having a family that needs help, because if he did, there might be now a time where you will actually see Uggo's real violence and rage come out, because I was honest with you. I even said it up front. Yeah. Yep. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it. I'm so curious, honestly. I wish I knew. I'm so curious what's going to happen. I
think there might be a story time.
Yeah. I feel the same way about Sharon's family. Like, I want to see that, and I want to understand what what makes him, what's his drive in all of this, I guess. Mm-hmm. Even though he's led on, I feel like there's more to it that we don't know. And so I'm very fascinated to see what happens with that. How we get there, I don't know. How it all shakes out, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are interpreting the fact that he's hiding something. It's meaning that he must be evil in some way, or that it's nefarious. But I'm with you, Ron. I'm kind of hoping that what he's hiding is maybe out of self-defense, or he's scared or something like that. It's not necessarily malintent.
And he has said as such, Sharon has said as such,
sure.
But whether he's being honest about that or not is what we need to see.
Yeah. So we shall see when we get there tomorrow night. I'm very excited for it. We'll see what Jeff has in store. Before we sign off for the evening, as always, I want to show some love to our wonderful community. You guys, the watchers of the time stream, the dungeon runners, as always, using your creativity to celebrate this story and this world. Tonight's fan art comes from Chaotic Brain, who did some amazing stuff in the fan art channel of the Discord. And so we're going to show Ron and Katie in particular in a time lapse where Chaotic Brain put together not only portraits of our players, but then use those to transform them into portraits of their characters. And these are just so expertly done. And you're so freaking talented. So cool. And so fun to see them side by side like that too. So Lily.
Oh, good.
And Uggo, done. Love it. Thank you guys for the digital love in chat for that. That's so good. Keep the creativity coming. Chaotic Brain, you're amazing. Anything you do, we always want to see. So please keep posting it. There's a fan videos section of the Discord. There's the fan art section of the Discord. I believe there's a fan fiction section as well.
Oh, there is.
There is. See, there we go. Yes. And then we also have our fandom site, the Dungeon Run dungeonrun.fandom.com, where you can upload all of your creative works there as well. So whatever type of creativity you have, if you're doing anything adjacent to the Dungeon Run, please let us know so that we can feature it in an upcoming episode of the Dungeon Rundown. And it seems that the Wardens that Be have chosen James Willis's comedy album title and our comment of the night. So congrats to you, Omega, who said, I cast Guidance, Lessons on Life, Leadership, and Libraries. And there it is. Look, we have the album right there for you, Morgan. James.
Parental advisory is so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Morgan says, oh my God.
Wow. Oh, I will buy that album.
I would buy that album in a heartbeat.
I love it so
must
much.
sell it.
I love it so much. All right, Omega, thank you so much for that. Please go ahead and watch your inbox so that we can get your Dungeon Run swag to you for being our winner on the rundown tonight. Congratulations. Folks, tomorrow night's The Dungeon Run will go on at its normally scheduled time, which is 6 p.m. Pacific time on caffeine.tv/The Dungeon Run, right where you are right now. In fact, you could just not go anywhere. You could just hang out here until tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific.
Wow.
And then you would see everyone for their next adventure of the Dungeon Run. We will find out what happens when they get to Boster. We will find out what's going on, who's lying, what happens post-kiss. I'm very excited, in case you can't tell. So I hope that you're as excited as I am. So thank you so much, Katie, and thank you so much, Ron, for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
this is always
awesome.
so fun. It's literally the fastest hour.
It really is. She's
don't
not even
understand.
It is literal. It is actually literal.
Literally.
Literally the fastest hour.
The fastest hour.
Just
Seriously,
by a couple of milliseconds.
You guys make it so enjoyable and wonderful, and it's lovely to get the insight into the Wednesday night show every Tuesday night. So thank you. Do you guys have anything you want to promote or share with everybody before we go for tonight?
Stay healthy.
I would like everyone to stay healthy, but I am still streaming on Saturdays at noon.
Ooh.
I do painting, paint some minis. I've been trying to have special guests as well, although COVID makes it a little harder. So please come check us out. If it's not raining, I always stream. It has been raining a few times, the last couple times. Supposed to be sunny this Saturday, so noon PST, 3 p.m. EST.
Yay!
At Ogden, caffeine.tv/Ogden.
He's streaming on Caffeine. I saw someone ask.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I stream on Caffeine.
And Katie, anything to share?
No, I beat Tomb Raider streaming on Caffeine, so that's cool.
Yes, my girl.
And then, I don't know, maybe I'll start Tomb Raider 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's your next game of choice going to be?
I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of liking, knowing how to play. I haven't played video games in so long, so it was fun to, figure it out. And it's a good mix of adventure and action for me.
It is. Yeah, it absolutely is. And once you get... So when you say Tomb Raider 2, you mean of the new games, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you'll have a good time. I'm excited for you. All the gruesome Tomb Raider deaths make me giggle, which I feel like makes me look like I'm a horrible human being, but they make me laugh because I'm uncomfortable.
They are so gruesome. It's funny because I got the game and I was like, this is going to be fun. It's like puzzles and adventure. And then the first time she gets skewered through the neck with a tree branch, I was like, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Side note, there's a co-op Tomb Raider game that's also full of puzzles and a lot of action that's also very fun.
Yeah, someone said that. I want to figure that out.
Yeah. Temple of Osiris, I think, is what it's called. It's a 3/4 top down, and it has different characters and stuff. It was a lot of fun.
Some of the puzzles are really hard, and I would have never solved that game so fast if it weren't for all the watchers who came and helped me.
Yeah.
Yay. Yeah, I'm backseat gaming allowed on all of my streams too, so I get it. I like to play with the audience. Dyson Cape says, yes, that's the name of the game. Good call, Ron.
Nice.
And your stream, Katie, is caffeine.tv/
The Katie Michels.
The Katie Michels.
And Michels is Michels. No A.
Okay. Awesome. Well, everybody go. I know that everyone who's watching this show probably already follows Katie and Ron. But make sure that you check out their streams and their live and all the awesome stuff that they're doing. Again, thank you both so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you, Trisha.
All of the legs tomorrow night on the Dungeon Run, which again, as a reminder for everybody, 6 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow night, right here on the Dungeon Run Caffeine channel. And then next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, meet me right back here for some more fun times and hangouts with the cast for the Dungeon Rundown. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Bye. Stay safe, everybody.